Alright, I'm back. um, Apparently, for some reason, Leech Chess has mixed up their, like, default, time controls here. So my favorite 15-15 control is gone. So now I'm left with the choice of playing a slightly quicker game, but calling it rapid, or playing a much longer game and calling it classical. I'm going to try the new classical. I'm going to try the 30-20. I think that might be really long for this streaming format, so I don't know how that's gonna go, but I figure I'll give it a shot anyway and just see. But I think probably for my games it won't be too different, because what often happens is in 15-15 games I use a lot of time in the first 20 moves, and then anything past that I'm in more of a blitz mode. I think I'll probably use the same amount of time, but now at least I'll hopefully have some more time on my clock for end games, when we get there, if I'm not totally losing by the time I get to the end game. And I'm guessing my opponents still won't use any time, so, it'll be an end game and I'll have 5 minutes on my clock and they'll have 30 minutes. But I'm okay with that. Mixed up a few things on the stream. I've elevated my computer about 3 or 4 inches to hopefully give a more flattering camera angle, and I'm not going to be peering over the board as much. And I've added I think I added a badge for subscribers. I don't know if that's gone through on Twitch's end yet, but hopefully. So with those things in mind, I'm going to do a few tactics to kind of warm up. It's definitely going to take a while to get used to looking dead ahead at the board instead of kind of down. So might as well get used to that now. Okay, well this rook is completely trapped, but it doesn't look super easy to take advantage of that. I've got this check, but then when the king moves anywhere, there's not really a follow-up that I see. Yeah. I mean, if I had this position in a game, I would take, because I'm afraid this pawn's gonna queen. I guess maybe king c3 is worth considering since the rook can't move. Yeah, that's probably it. Well, I'm not really threatening the rook, but I could go here first and then king c3. Or king c3 first and then knight b4. Probably knight b4 first, because then black has to respond to that threat. So knight b4, how does he get out of this? Can I go even further? Okay, I didn't know I could go even further back in the game. So... okay, so now that the king has gotten to d4, this knight b4 idea seems like it could work. Alright, I'm gonna try that. Okay, and now king c3. You can take with check, but then I take, and I've got the promotion square stopped. Okay, yeah, this one I just take the rook. Okay, good deal. Okay, well, there's almost a back rank issue here. Like a rook to the back rank could be mate, but this pawn's pretty dangerous. I guess knight here that's a pretty nice square for the knight, and I'm putting a lot of pressure on g2. Pressure that I don't see how white's going to relieve. Seems like that should be winning, because, I mean, he probably has to give the exchange. Maybe even taking with the pawn is to be considered, but either way, I'm going to either be up in exchange, or if I win this pawn, this is going to be passed. The king's going to be weak forever. And I would be taking here with a fork, so I think this is a pretty safe move. Now the only question is which way to take. Taking with the rook seems a lot more natural. Yeah, I'm going to take with the rook. Okay. Let's do one or two more. Okay, well, this sets up a mate threat. This also sets up the same threat. I don't really see, you know, a problem with g6 after either of those moves, but that does make me wonder if taking this bishop first would be any good, so that then black's taking with a pawn, and then on one of these queen moves, there is no g6, although it's no longer... Oh, it still is a mate threat because my rook controls f7. So that makes a lot of sense. But if I'm gonna sack the exchange, I need to be pretty sure that I'm getting something in return. I don't see another useful way to defend the mate threat. Is there any other threat that black can drum up in the meantime? My king's pretty safe. My rooks are defending each other. My bishop's protected. My queen's going to be on the diagonal with my bishop. I do wonder what the difference between these two moves is. Maybe I won't have to get that far. Maybe this and black just can't take back, and then it doesn't matter. This seems like it's good. Alright, I'm wrong. Hey, Philosophy Saint. Yeah, all is good for me. Hope the same for you. Okay, so... maybe there was something else to notice here. I mean, maybe one of these moves first is good, but it seems like then maybe black could just move the bishop. I mean, this also hits the pawn. That doesn't really seem like enough for a tactic, but... okay, what about this one? Oh, and now? Now sack? Yeah, maybe that is more unpleasant to deal with. Okay, so... if I sack first, f takes, and it says black is completely fine. Ah, because my rook's hanging, yeah, with mate. Yeah, that's a pretty good reason. Okay, yeah, I missed that. And... why does queen e4 now? Oh, queen e4 doesn't work because I can't sack. Okay. Let's do one more. Well, I only see one legal move. Man, if I go c1, it seems like I'm just gonna get mated in a couple moves here. I don't really have any checks. White doesn't have any checks to sort of break up that idea, so it seems like king a1 is forced. I don't see him... well, okay, I guess if king c1 and takes, I do have king d1. And then I can escape to e2. So, yeah, maybe that is better, because king a1, then rook b2. And now there's really no escape and no defense to a2, it doesn't seem like. So, okay, king c1. Alright, that one was too easy, so I'm going to do one more. one. Well, this rook looks like it's hanging. But am I going to get in trouble after king here? Seems hard to believe, but... Okay. So what am I missing here? The rook's almost trapped, but I do have a1 if nothing else. Yeah, I guess a1. Yeah, that one was pretty easy too. Give me something to, you know, get me going. Okay, takes, check. Hitting the bishop too. If he goes here, he's cutting off the rook support so I can pick up the bishop. Anything else? No checks for black. He could throw in this capture first, so... But... Then I have some... Like this would be double check. I can pick up this bishop, he can pick up this rook. So, more simply would just be trading bishops and then picking this up, right? I guess if I trade bishops... he can't play this, it's pinned. So if I take the bishop, then this bishop's just hanging. And I don't have anything hanging. So, okay. And this doesn't work now because the rook's defending. Okay. Yeah, come on, these are too easy. Alright. Well, maybe that's a sign that I'm, you know, in good form. Alright, so let's get ready for this monster game format here. 30 plus 20. Maybe I can write a few letters during this game. Yeah, my fear when I saw this was that no one's going to want to play 30 plus 20, and it's going to take forever to find a game. So we'll give it a few minutes anyway. Yeah, I mean, I'm happy to see longer classical options available, and I do hope they get popular, but like when the only classical option is a 30-minute game, I feel like that's not so good. Like instead of this 30 plus 0, they should have just kept 15-15. Because now it's putting me in the spot where, okay, do I want to, like, I might just have to give up on classical chess, or like what they call classical, because if it's going to take forever to find a game. Like, okay, here's a 15-15, but he's 17-50, but it's casual. So, I mean... I could do 15-10, and then that's moving to my rapid rating, which I haven't really played much of. At least recently. 1510's not a bad format. I mean, it is decently quicker than 1515, but like the interest in their classical formats is already so low that I don't know, it just seems like this is gonna make it even more difficult. Yeah, so here's 1515 rated, but he's 1730, 1536. Alright, here's a game. Okay. Alright, so settle in. It's a long game. Oh, it's a Dutch. I don't know the Dutch at all. I know I'm supposed to play G3. It's basically all I know. And I'm out of book, but I'm guessing I just fianchetto right away. I guess knight f3 is also a move, but I don't know if there's a move order difference here. I guess bishop g2 right away. He can't play b6. I don't know if he wants to play b6. And, you know, he can't play knight d5, so I'll do that first. Okay, so this is the Leningrad Dutch, I believe. But nevertheless, I don't really know any theory here. So I've always thought this setup looked weird for black. I mean, I know it's a common idea in the Dutch, but like the king is going to be pretty exposed on this diagonal, right? There's just a lot of room to attack over here. I think I'm just going to play knight f3 because I don't know what else to do. I sort of want to play c4 and knight c3, but maybe I don't want to block this diagonal. Maybe I want my queen to come to b3 at some point, so I don't know if I want to play c4, although I normally would. So in the same vein, let's just castle. Yeah, I mean, you might need a whole meal. I don't know if snacks are going to be enough. So if I want to keep this queen b3 idea alive, I mean, that would mean playing c3, which means this knight isn't going to c3, which means it's going to d2 or a3, I guess, but so then I've got to decide what to do with this bishop so that the knight can come to d2. I don't know if it's worth all that, to be honest. I wish I knew how black typically developed the queen side in these positions. c4 does make some sense because I could even maybe be threatening d5, although then I'm really weakening this diagonal for the bishop. And I mean, for that reason, c3 does kind of make sense. Sort of keep this bishop in check. So maybe c3, there's some merit. I just don't know what I'm going to do with the dark squared bishop in that case. Like, I probably just want to trade it off. But I don't know, putting it in front of the e-pawn looks sort of strange. It's accessible to some knight jumps. Putting it here, it's still accessible to the knight. Knight h3 to f4 is a fun sideline. Yeah, I never would have really considered knight h3. Yeah, I mean, that's my thought too, Philosophy saying I'm really not that familiar with the Dutch, and I don't think I've ever played a slow game against it, or at least not in a very long time. Okay, I'm just gonna play bishop f4. I'm thinking, you know, maybe if the bishop trades for this knight, it's not the end of the world, because I'm probably gonna have a lot of my pawns on dark squares anyway. So, hey, heaven owns, road to 2100. I think I gotta get back to 2000 first. So. Also, I do remember that in the Dutch, black really wants to play e5, so the bishop on f4 sort of helps prevent that. I could play queen d2 and go ahead and try to trade the bishops off, but I really want d2 for my knight, because I think I'm still going to play this c3 idea. Okay, I think I'm just gonna go c3 right away. Just so this is on the table, it makes it a little more difficult for his light squared bishop to deploy. And also now when my knight comes to d2, this pawn's defended. I'm not cutting off the only defense. Though I guess the knight was here, but... I'm thinking maybe this knight wants to do this kind of a maneuver. The rook probably wants to be on e1 to help with an e4 advance anyway. Like if this knight tries to take out the bishop, then e4 is probably a good idea. So far I think this time control's played out about like my 15-15 games. I spend 5 minutes or so in the opening trying to figure out the best way to deploy everything. But now I've got more time in the bank for later in the game. Okay, e6. I don't know, but I understand the point of e6. Oh, maybe just to block the diagonal as advertised. Queen b3 does pin the pawn, but I think I still have a few ideas of, you know, what my queen could help with. So I don't think I want to play queen b3 when that can be pretty easily, well, maybe it's worth considering. Queen b3, then knight g5 is probably a threat. Yeah, that actually does seem to be the case. But I did kind of want my queen around to recapture on f4 if ever Black tries to hunt the bishop down. I think Black can probably deal with the threats after queen b3. Yeah, I think h6 wouldn't be a bad way forward. And then my queen's sort of not doing much on b3. So I'm just gonna play rook e1. I think I want this knight to have f1 available because I don't want the knight to have to stay on d2 for long. It's going to be in the way of, you know, my queen coming to help here. Well, I could try to plant this knight on e4. Okay, the other knight's coming in. I don't know, maybe I really would rather trade the bishop for this knight. I don't know. Yeah, the bishop on h6 would be pretty annoying. I think I'm sort of torn between this plan and just this plan. Maybe the knight's not really even that special on E3. Looks nice, but it doesn't really have anywhere to go. At least not immediately. So D2 would also support E4, which I think White usually does want to play in the Dutch. Okay, I'm just gonna go with this plan. I think I like the look of it a little bit better. It's sort of nice that if this knight tries to hunt down the bishop, I have bishop g4, g5. I think pace-wise, I'm probably about right where I need to be in terms of time management. 9 moves, and I've used about a third of my clock. Yeah, that game yesterday or 2 days ago, I had a game that, yeah, I got into 17, 18 moves with no trades. I'm guessing there's going to be some trades in this game pretty soon. Looks like I'm ready to play e4. And he could stop it with d5, which sort of transposes into a stone wall, I guess, but then why did he play d6? I guess the sub badge that I added has to get approved by Twitch too, because I don't see Alonso or Philosopher Saint with it. Either that or there's some setting somewhere that I'm not privy to. I'll be interested to see how closely or not closely I've followed sort of the book ideas in the Dutch. Seems to me like White is maybe a tiny bit better here. My king looks safer. I've got a little bit more development. I've got more central control. I've got space on the queen side. Well, my opponent is taking a lot of time on this move, so maybe I've deviated from book, or maybe this is the end of their book knowledge. Or they're just not sure how they want to continue here. Okay, h6 I wondered about earlier. So, I mean, now g5 is perhaps something to worry about. I guess I could play h4 if I was really worried, but that sort of allows knight g4, which I don't think I want to do. I could just play e4, although I guess after g5, the bishop would have to fall back to e3, which would cut off the rook's defense. So then my pawn would just be hanging. So maybe h4 does need to be played. And if the knight lands on g4... I mean, I don't love it. Seems like g5's coming, though. So, I mean, I could sort of revert to this knight f1 idea. But g5, and then black's going to be able to play e5, I believe. I guess not necessarily. Well, he could. So, what about e4, g5, e5? Pawn structure gets a little weird. Pawn structure is weird. He gets two bishops. My rook on e1 gets opened up. Or I could keep my pawns together and just play it like a pawn sacrifice. That might be better. But then I'm down material, he's got the bishop pair, etc. But my rook's opened up. Maybe I can get pressure on e6. Maybe. I don't know, I think I'm starting to like the h4 idea. Because at least if the knight lands on g4, I have knight h2, and my knight on f3 isn't really doing anything other than obstructing my bishop. So I think maybe that's the way forward. I've got the light squared bishop around to defend the weak light squares. Could be an issue later in the game. But I think that's what I like the most right now. Oh, where is my, why is my follower stuff? Why is all that gone? My follower goal and my, like, activity feed and all that? What happened? Can we get that back? Okay, there's the follower goal. I wonder why those went away. Event list? Yeah. Alright, that's better. Okay, so I said I was on a good pace time-wise, but now I think I'm gonna have to speed up a bit. It is nice being able to put this much thought into, you know, the opening moves. Like, I've basically gotten 10 moves for free. Like, I normally play 15-15, so I'm virtually at that time control now, where I've just already got 10 moves out of the way. Although this game actually has a 20-second increment. Yeah, I forgot he could go for that idea. I don't really have a nice way to defend the bishop. I guess E3 I'm probably gonna get trapped. Yeah. Okay, well, that's a bit of a concession, but I'm thinking I might as well just play e4, and at least I'll kind of get a nice hold on the e file in the meantime while black's running down this bishop. That's probably the most productive thing I can do. Although maybe there's some problems with that. I don't know. I guess there is kind of a concerning line, but I don't know what else to do. Alright, let's just go for it. We'll see if he plays the line that I'm slightly worried about. Might as well just pre-move this. Okay, I was more worried about f takes e4 because that opens up the rook on the pawn, or on the bishop as it was. Might be losing the pawn anyway. I think e3 my bishop was getting trapped. Okay, so I was thinking rook takes kind of invites d5, which does win the pawn, but then he's got this kind of odd pawn structure. So yeah, if e3 here, I thought he could play e5, and then takes. He's got the bishop and knight supporting. I've got a bishop and knight, but I don't. Oh, I've got the rook. No, I don't have the rook. The pawn's on e3. So I thought my bishop was going to be trapped in that line. Maybe I miscalculated. Well, when I say trapped, I mean I'm going to lose it for nothing. Like, he was going to be able to take it with a pawn, rather than me getting a knight out of it. I could be wrong. Yeah, things are looking not so great. This pawn's pretty weak. Yeah, it looks pretty bad. This knight can't really move because I can't let him take there. Okay, I guess let's go here. King's safety is looking pretty shaky. It's not super convenient for him to defend that pawn. Oh, that's a relatively convenient way to go about it. Yeah, does not look good. My knights are sort of stepping on each other's toes. Really want to prevent e5, although I think it could just be played. Maybe there's something. I'm worried about, like, if he plays e5 and I take it with the knight, that he can take here somehow or another. Probably like this. Threaten there. But I mean, maybe I can survive this knight coming to f3. Okay. I was thinking about bishop h3, now it makes maybe a little more sense, because this pawn would be pins, but bishop's also kind of needed to defend this knight. Only other thing I can see to do is bolt with the king, and maybe that's okay. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do that. I think I'm just gonna try to get out of dodge. I don't really see anything more productive I can do. I need to just kind of just waiting for black to try to break through. Oh, I didn't even look at that idea. Obviously makes quite a bit of sense. I've got 3 pieces defending that, so I can go here and here. But e5 is really going to hurt whenever it's played, I think. But king's got to get safe. Will I stream tomorrow? Probably. I would say 95%. Unless something comes up. I basically stream every day. If you're not in the Discord, you can join the Discord and I post updates about when I'll be streaming. Oh hey, the sub badge went through. It doesn't look very good though. Yeah, it looks terrible. Might have to work on that a bit. Can't even tell what it is. Okay. So if I take, I assume queen f2 is the idea, but then king d1, and my bishop's actually defended by the knight. Although, the knight can be easily kicked. Yeah, the knight might can just return to f3 though. It's gonna get the bishop, I think. Knight could end up taking on g6. But if I don't go for it, then I don't know. It looks even worse, perhaps. Yeah, maybe there's some other issues here. I don't know, I think I'm just gonna go for it. Looks like a battery. Yeah, it's not supposed to be a battery. It's supposed to be my Nalgene. So I can toast you guys. Takes in pawn f3. I don't think I'm gonna have a time for pawn f3. I assume he's gonna play queen takes f2. Unless he unless he changes his mind and thinks it doesn't work, and then he could play queen takes knight, which I would be happy about. Yeah, I think queen f2 is what he wants to do, but I'd have king d1. Oh yeah, he can just take the knight instead of the bishop, that's true. Okay, so he took the knight right away. I guess it doesn't really matter. He's gonna get the pawn too. Well, maybe that's not true. I could play knight f3. He does have another threat here, and I don't think knight f3 addresses it. Or it does, but I think he could play rook takes knight and then be completely winning. So... I mean, I guess queen takes g6 could be considered, but man, that looks risky. I mean, I guess I need to save my bishop. I think I have to play king d2, king d1. And hope I can hold on to my bishop somehow. I guess queen g6 does kind of hold on to it, but for how long? Maybe queen takes g6 is okay. Queen takes g6 does stop his other threat. But so does king d1. Okay, well, I think I'm probably losing either way, but I guess I might as well try to grab some material in case I skate through. The other problem that I saw was bishop takes pawn, and then if I take back, he's got a fork. So that had to be addressed too. So at least now I got a pawn back, and my queen does defend the bishop. Yeah. I mean, it seems insane to consider king d3, but I mean, I don't know. King d3 is just more accessible to the knight and bishop, so... Yeah, I think he's still gonna get my bishop in the end of all this. Maybe not. I mean, I'm happy that material at least is equal for now. Oh, he's going for this anyway. Well, the bishop's pinned, but he can take with the queen, which has the annoying side effect of hitting my knight. But I don't know. I don't think there's really much else to consider. I mean, maybe this is to be considered, but... But, I mean, if the knight comes here, so much for any counterattack, probably. Alright, I guess I'll take the material. And pray. Okay. These are really the only options I'm seeing. I don't want to undefend my bishop. This seems to happen either way. Which is quite annoying. So maybe just rook here. That at least offers my bishop some more defense. It attacks his rook. Yeah, I mean, I thought about moving my queen, but then the bishop hangs, so... Yeah, I mean, I had the unfortunate choice. I mean, now he can't take on b2, because his rook's hanging. If he takes, then he's kind of running out of pieces to attack with. I'm feeling a lot better about this than I was, 5 or 10 minutes ago. It feels like he really needs to find a way to win material soon. Can't forget about this bishop. I did forget that bishop a4 check is possible, but thankfully I have b3. Okay, so his rook backs up. And I almost have... Maybe I do have that. Not sure. Possibly I do. I think I do. Is he threatening anything currently? The idea is, if bishop takes, queen takes check, his rook's hanging, he plays rook f7, and then bishop takes d5, and I think eventually I'm gonna win the rook with like rook f1. Maybe this offers some chances at perpetual. Yeah, I mean, like I said, he's running out of pieces to mate me with, and I'm only +2 on material right now, although I might be giving back material if I miscalculated here. But, I mean, really, I'm up a rook for 3 pawns, and, you know, it might be tough for him to hold on to those pawns in an endgame. Although, I mean, admittedly, his queenside pawns are nice and together. Thinking it's looking more and more likely like there could be some perpetual for one side, and that's how things will be resolved. Okay, I thought just here, I guess that does allow queen a1 check. Is there anything wrong with king c1, and if a queen check, then queen b1? I don't think I see a flaw with that. Maybe rook f2 is annoying. Okay, I'm gonna go for that. What? I forgot about this bishop. That does explain it. Darn. Man, I wonder if king e2... I wonder what the evaluation is of king e2. Ah, I forgot about that bishop. I pinned it, so it just didn't exist in my mind. So, if king e2, I was just worried about checks. I mean, I didn't even see this check, but that's obviously possible. And I mean after bishop b3, queen a1. So bishop b3, queen a1 check. Here, I mean, now there's not really... I saw that this was a check. Yeah, and maybe that one is pretty annoying. Because I guess I have to play king e3. Then this bishop checks me. And it looks like that's mate. I think that's mate. So maybe I was just mated. If I play king e2 right away, I mean, there's got to be some mate. After here, this is my only move. I guess probably the rook check is better. The rook check might just be mate, right? Yeah. So I was just mated. I'm pretty sure after rook takes e6, I'm just mated. Oh no, okay. So rook takes e6 was the best move. At least so far. Computer's still thinking. So, okay. Yeah, rook takes e6 was the best move. Bishop a4 check. b3 is the only move that doesn't get mated. How does b3 not get mated? What did I miss here? I am upset that I missed that this pawn was still hanging, but time pressure and whatnot. So b3, I thought queen here check. Oh, I guess I can just play king c2. But then here, maybe there's just a perpetual. Back to d1. Yeah, king c2. Oh, queen takes a2 check. King c1. Wait, and queen b2 isn't mate there? Okay, b3. Queen a1 check. I didn't see king c2 was legal, but it says this is still a draw. Queen takes a2. King d1. Bishop takes, knight takes. Queen takes. And now I guess it's just a perpetual check. There's never going to be a mate. His rook can't really get in. I guess as long as my king stays back here and I guess I'm just going between these two squares. If I step on b1, I get mated. And if I go to the second rank, then his rook can come in. So yeah, king c1, queen somewhere check, queen a3 check. Oh, I can even go to d2 here, it says. I don't think I would. I would be afraid of rook f2. But king d1's fine. d3 check, king c1, and there's just no mate because this pawn cuts off his rook. Wow, okay, well that's kind of a lot to see. He might have even played on because he's got 4 pawns. So, alright, well that's interesting. I mean, I'm pretty happy with how I defended until this. Until the mate in 1 that I missed. But yeah, it felt like he had just a crushing attack at some point. So let's see how we did compared to the book. Okay, so I knew g3 was the main move. Knight f6. Bishop g2 is strongly preferred to knight f3. g6 and knight f3 now. Okay, so far so good. Bishop g7, castles. Yeah, I mean all these moves are pretty automatic. Okay, so it wants me to play c4 right away. Yeah, I mean in hindsight the bishop on b4 or on f4 was just a liability. I mean maybe it was workable. But I had to find a way to defend it, because once my knight went to d2, then knight d5 was really effective. So maybe the bishop on f4 is okay, but I didn't play later down the line. But c4 is just the main move here. I thought maybe I wanted to keep the diagonal open, but I guess that's not as valuable as I thought. And I thought blunting this bishop was worth it, but... well, I mean, c3 is a move here. Not super common. b4 is also a move. I guess b3 and b4, the idea is just to... Yeah, maybe I should have just fianchettoed and, you know, hope that this bishop would offset this one, since my bishop is going to be the one struggling. Okay. So bishop f4 is not really a move. Maybe we'll sort of transpose back into more common lines. I mean, we are following one master game here that ended in a draw. Though they're 2200, so pretty good, but not super grandmasters or anything. Okay, yeah. That was the main move. Computer still wants c4 or knight e1. I never really considered knight e1, but admittedly that knight didn't do much in the game. Queen b3. I did think about queen b3 here, and I thought h6 would be a fine reply. Computer doesn't even do that. It says knight c6 might be a little better. Okay, now it likes h6, and now it... Yeah, I mean, I wanted to threaten knight g4. Here, to put pressure here. So if he does this, I can't play knight g4. No big deal, he just attacks my queen or defends the pawn. Okay. Yeah, that's kind of what I figured in the game, was like, okay, I can create a threat, but I didn't think it would be too difficult for black to defend. So rook e1, computer isn't a big fan. They wanted the knight to go to e1. It took me a while to sort of recognize that this knight is not doing much. I liked that it was controlling g5 in case my bishop needed to go there, but h6 was probably coming regardless, so bringing the knight to d3, I assume, is the idea, and that looks a lot better. Also defends the bishop on f4. Yeah, none of my other pieces really need d3, so open this bishop's eyes. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, and it does like knight b2, likes h6, likes e4. Oh, I didn't play e4, I played h4. h4 was the second move. Okay, I thought if e4, g5 anyway would be really annoying. Yeah, that's what the computer is liking. Oh, and it wants me to sack. Knight takes g5, h takes g5. Bishop takes g5, I'm threatening to win the knight because of the pin. Queen d7 getting out of that. Then e takes f5. E takes f5. So I've given up a piece for 2 pawns, but I've got pretty good activity. His king is really loose. Okay, that's interesting. I probably would not have ever been bold enough to do that. Oh yeah, I guess he can't... This looks like the more natural move, but I guess after the knight jumps in, it's looking even worse. So queen d7 takes. I mean, I'd be scared to play this position. I guess this bishop's tough to develop, but... Knight f3. h4. Yeah, I mean, okay. That's interesting. I'm not sure I understand why white has sufficient compensation. And the computer does say black is a little bit better, but... Okay, so that's kind of a crazy line to go for, maybe. Knight c4 is the computer's second choice, which I didn't consider. I guess at least that stops e5, which was problematic. And more importantly, it gives the bishop some squares to fall back to, which I didn't see. So yeah, now this maneuver just works. Okay, and it didn't like e4 here. Huh, so right now it says e3 was playable. How does my bishop not get trapped? Did I just calculate that wrong? That seems likely. Or maybe it's gonna be another line where I get 2 pawns for the piece. I thought this just trapped the bishop. Okay, d takes e. Doesn't he have that well enough defended? Am I crazy? Pin the knight with queen b3. Okay, so bishop takes, knight takes, bishop takes, I assume. And now queen b3. Knight here. Okay, knight c4. Oh, knight c4 attacks the bishop and the knight. Ah, that's the saving move. Yeah, so I just didn't look deeply enough that his piece would get in trouble on e5. That's a tough one to see, I think. Yeah, that one's beyond me. That computer sees pretty well, though. Okay, so e4 wasn't any good. Yeah, and I knew I was just in really bad shape here. I'm surprised it's only -1. Knight b3 is a hard move to play. Now it's suggesting queen e2, which is more logical. Yeah, it doesn't like this. Okay, rook ae1. And it didn't like me running away with my king. Still wants me to play knight b3. I don't get knight b3. That just seems like the knight's going to be away from the action on b3. Like, knight b3, what am I even doing on rook f8? Queen e2, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. I don't like knight b3. Computer finds a good reason for it, I'm sure. Or b4, like, those moves don't seem to do anything. I wanted to run away with the king. g5 I never really considered. Rook f8 I didn't consider, but was played and was obviously good. And computer suggests king back to g1 for a second. Bishop h3. Undefending the knight. Yeah, and I thought this was, I thought maybe he missed something here. I'm thinking he thought that once I took, he would take and then scoop up my bishop. And it likes taking the knight directly instead of taking the pawn and then the knight. Okay. Bishop or rook f3s, yeah. Man, I thought I was still sort of falling for this, but maybe not. So this was a bad move. Yeah, I mean, I guess rook f3 at least hangs on to the f2 pawn. And yeah, he's sacked again. And yeah, I found some decent defensive moves here, but just missed this easy one at the end under time pressure. So that's unfortunate. But all right, well, that was fun. I'm actually going to go ahead and end things here. Sorry, I know that's kind of a quick stream. I might be back on later tonight. Yeah, I'll probably be back later tonight and can play some more longer games, maybe get some Blitz games in, play some viewers, all that good stuff. But overall, that was a successful first crack at the 30-20 default control, so I'm happy enough with that. All right, so I'll post in Discord about the stream tonight. I would say I'll almost certainly stream more tonight, so look for that probably around 8 Central, 7 or 8 Central, somewhere in there. So, all right, well, hope to see y'all then. Take care. Bye.